I am the Harbinger of Fate, he whom did chronicle the stories, adventures, legends, and some say even myths of LA's infamous Captain Anarchy and his Anarchy Squad in Hollywood's Rock City News all throughout the decade of the 1990s, as he and his comrades fought and strove bravely in the face of that decade's musically turbulent and often, frankly, quite boring time to keep the truly worthy underground music scenes alive, and to also spread and perpetuate the concepts of free and independent thought and will through their message of general dissension and disaffection. In doing so, our protagonists strove not only to help the underground music scenes of that era, but also the roots of that music and those scenes that originated in the 1970s and 80s and even earlier eras as well. And they did so by getting in the face of the public with their invaluable press, photography, cable television series, live show and party promotions, underground networking of bands, and with live valued attendee appearances, to name just a few of their daring exploits that challenged the music industry as well as the government's equally often lost direction and hence misguidance of the world of music fans and freethinkers alike, both nationally as well as abroad. Unfortunately, the end of the 1990s, which was possibly one of the worst decades for rock music in its various genres and freethinkers alike, brought with it the demise of the Anarchy Squad. Following the tragic loss of team members Plastic Girl and Lady Liberty, the underground layer of Anarchy Squad headquarters was also finally discovered deep in the bowels of LA's long-forgotten sewer system by the various black ops government agencies who were working in conjunction with bounty hunters led by the evil Sergeant System, and whom were hired by major record label corporate bigwigs seeking the demise of our daredevil freedom advocates for their subversive actions and distribution of coinciding materials. Fleeing for their freedom and quite possibly their lives, the squad was hence forced to disperse and retreat into true underground seclusion like some kind of draft dodgers, many of whom were never heard from again, such as the Agent, whom officially retired, and Molecula, whom returned to his home world in a distant galaxy. And then there were the other part-time members such as Kid Chaos, Gravedigger, and Jumpin' Jeff, to name only a few, whom simply seemed to have vanished from the scenes and now tend only to resurface covertly on random rare occasions. This left only Captain Anarchy and his longtime comrade Prince of Darkness to carry the torch, whom following further investigation were rumored to have had their secret identities exposed, or at least so their enemies think and claim. And though Prince of Darkness did and still has periodically continued to provide the public with valued information regarding the various underground scenes as a writer for numerous other publications, our patron Captain Anarchy chose not to continue to do so in an attempt to evade and cloud his volatile past and hence discredit any public or official notion of him having ever secretly been the notorious hunted leader of Anarchy Squad, in order to confuse and divert those who would seek to take away his freedom of speech, his freedom period, or even his very life for that matter. However, the new millennium brings with it even more generic, corporate-composed music and bands whose lineup has been engineered by bigwigs, along with a controlled game plan targeted at the free-willed as a further attempt to control the masses and designed by the corporate cutthroats of the music industry and the ever-failing and desperate new government regime. And so, with that, we now see a return to the world of subversive communication by our long-cherished champion, Captain Anarchy. Unmasked, or perhaps not, yet ever elusive as always. Transmitting via pirate internet, radio and television, and by carrier pigeon when necessary, our champion has now begun offering us his vital memoirs, written in his own first-hand perspective, and henceforth to be published here in Lost Anarchy magazine, in an attempt to keep the public informed and educated as to the worthy music and scenes that still survive, and the just causes that need your support. So who is Captain Anarchy, you may ask? Many say he is an old-school punk from LA's Westside. Others say that he is a Z-list Hollywood rock star fronting several different bands of varying genres. Many claim he is a subversive sovereign citizen that lives out in the wild in a forest surrounding an ancient river and a desert lake. or maybe even just right here in the city underneath our noses. Others claim he is a playboy living in the Hollywood Hills, while others have even dared to say he is just a homeless bum from the ghetto that still lives in the sewers of his original hideout. Yet others say that he is actually just the guy next door, whom you would never suspect. And then there are those that claim he is an actual high seas pirate by day and a highwayman by night. And maybe he is one of these nefarious characters, and then again maybe, just maybe, he is a combination of them all. Or maybe some are right when they say that he does not actually exist, but rather that he is in fact just a concept, a standard, a mass illusion created by the will of free thinkers. But it doesn't really matter, for we call him Hero.
Captain Marcus McCunwell and crew, patriot privateers of the Royal Crown, also known on the high seas as Captain Anarchy. You and your crew stand accused of treason on the high seas against the American colonies. How do you plead for you and your crew, sir? Guilty as charged.
Whatever doesn't kill you simply makes you strange.
Welcome to the first installment of LA's infamous Captain Anarchy's Hollywood memoirs. Spring gives way to summer as a heat wave descends upon the denizens of Lost Anarchy. So let the chaos begin! The adolescents, the middle class, and love canal at Weber's place in Reseda. The Droogs came out this night, or at least the captain and his lady did, and henceforth, when she accompanies him in her own girly version of Droog attire, she shall be affectionately known as Droogie McBusty.
And yes, I thought it was pretty funny and kinda ironic of us to do so. This was an adolescent's headlining gig, and anyone who knows their music, hence knows their song Rip It Up from their first album, and thus also knows how it mentions the movie Clockwork Orange in its opening line, and how they utilize the reference to that movie and the rat-packing type of violence that occurs in it in regard to their own disdain for similar acts that occur sometimes in the punk scene, albeit did not occur on this night. And in fact, no one even so much as got kicked in the yobbles even. But rather, this was just a really fun, friendly, and punks united kind of gig, actually. But before I get into reviewing the bands, I just want to give a big shout out to punk rock promoters Eric and Krista Lara of Bad Sam Presents for giving a few hundred of us punks a chance to get to see these bands up close and personal at a great local level venue, where we could actually get close to and interact with the bands while they were performing. And I also want to thank the owner, Kervin Linton, of Weber's Place, for providing us with a safe, cool, awesome Jamaican rum bar themed venue to party in, as this place rocked. And don't let me forget Allison and the bar staff, whom kept the strong drinks and affordable beers flowing fast and all night.
24-ounce Pabst Blue Ribbon cans, oh yeah, baby.
Anyway, our cohort for the evening,
Greg Burial,
made his way in ahead of us since we were lagging. Well,
pounding the good old Malaco Plus in the old Durango 95, actually.
hence we missed Love Canal. But he reported that they tore through an action-packed set of old school punk done right. Check out a live video of it on his site, that's MRHANDJOB. But anyway, we made it in for middle class, and it was a real treat to get to see these old school veterans rip through a very long set of what must have been their entire catalog, literally. And they did so in their true to form lo-fi punk original style as well. Just like a blast back to their late 70s origin. And all the while, they never really missed a beat, and the crowd cheered on and the pit was virtually constant. And you can check out plenty of live footage of these guys at www.youtube.com/Mr. Handjob. That's MRHANDJOB. And then, of course, came the adolescents, who proceeded to rip, snort, and tear through pretty much every song you would ever want to hear off their premiere Blue album, straight like it was still 1982. And they also played several songs off of their OC Confidential LP, which I absolutely love. As well as quite a few of their tastier songs off their latest release. And and it finally reached its pinnacle once the members of Middle Class got on stage with them to sing some classic punk covers. But I'm out of room here, so I'll just end this by saying it was a total blast, and be sure to check out Greg's live videos once again at www.youtube.com/Mr. Handjob. That's MRHANDJOB.
Very well, little brothers and sisters. Very well.
Chaos would kill the dinosaurs, Doc.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, or I will scratch your eyeballs out.
Well, don't gape at me. Fetch me some ale before I blow away to dust.